Bleeps.
Special guest star, Ted Knight. Foul Up from Too Close for Comfort. Bleeps and Blunders from the News. Mal Sharp from San Francisco. And Foul Up from Kids. And now, from ABC Television Center in Hollywood, the stars of Foul Ups, Bleeps and Blunders, Steve Lawrence and Don Rickles.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. Good evening and welcome to another panorama of human error, of real life. Levity that's captured forever on film and television tape.
All right, you folks in the audience, want to get your money out? It's $5 each. A deuce for the kiddies, and nobody gets in on a pass.
Don, what are you doing?
What do you mean, what am I doing? We're not doing this show for free anymore. You've heard of pay TV? This is pay me TV.
Don, this is free television, Don.
But we could make a fortune.
You'd have to do what they do on pay TV. I mean, you're not going to introduce people standing here in the nude.
I've heard about your bar.
What'd you hear?
We just lost a fortune. Edie made him keep his overcoat on the wedding night.
Can I help it if she gets turned on by cashmere?
And speaking of your wedding night, let's get to the quickies.
You'll pay for that. Right now, here's this week's top 10 quickies. Starting with number 10. It's a local reporter with a story of the dying art of being a blacksmith. You're about to see why a lot of Smitties have quit the business. Why?
Yeah, the cowboy is a heck of a lot harder than it looks. I think I'm going to leave this to the pros.
In our next quickie, a very popular announcer is covering the arrival of a member of royalty. I think he's about to receive the President Gerald Ford Award for distinguished klutziness. This next quickie comes from a commercial in dieting. It's a mouthful. Watch.
Heard the news? Dieting can be delicious.
Who told you that?
There's nothing better than a technical snafu on a talk show to produce a quickie, especially when the show is live and the guest is actor Omar Sharif.
Omar Sharif, the man who for the last 20 years has been turning women's knees to jelly, dare I say it, arrived in Chichester today to begin rehearsals for a new production at Chichester's Festival Theatre. He plays the Prince Regent of Carpathia in the Terence Rattigan play, The Sleeping Prince. Anne Dawson has been along to the theatre to meet him.
Here's a local community affair show in which the hostess of the show is about to compliment a local artist for her beautiful painting of a lighthouse.
One of Vera's here, and I understand you like outdoor things, so this is a nice selection of yours of an outhouse, or not an outhouse.
There's a lot of four-letter words you can't use on television. But here's a lady who wishes someone had yelled a four-letter word at her. Duck.
I don't know, Colleen, this is pretty embarrassing. Only my second day hosting the show, and the field producer forgets the kite string. We can't fly our kite.
Oh, and it's such a pretty day. It's sunny out, it's breezy. We probably could have just been flying that kite in no time at all.
No, we don't have anything to do.
You've all heard the expression, he looks like something the dog dragged in. Well, in this case, what was dragged in was the trainer. Keep your eye on the lower right-hand corner of the screen for the draggee.
Why it's so difficult? I've got 3, you've only got 1.
I know, but I've got the strongest.
That brings us to this week's top 3 quickies, starting with an up-close and personal story of a polar bear that gets too close up and too personal for the reporter's taste.
I'm sorry, whatever I did, I'm sorry.
In quickie number 2, you'll see Charles Bronson with his shirt off.
No, they're not. They're going to see a gorilla.
Same difference.
And keeping out of their way, and then eventually we can gain their trust.
And here's our number 1 quickie of the week, the fastest quickie in the West.
And over the jump. That was very nice. And now we're heading off the... Oh, switch it off.
See it again?
So now we're heading off the... Oh, switch it off.
We'll be right back, folks.
I knew that.
Here we are.
Steve and Don return with guest star Ted Knight, special feature The Joke's on You, and news anchor Doug Main fouling up from Canada.
Thank you very much and welcome back. Right now, we'd like you to meet a marvelous actor who has actually done it twice.
Poor guy. I do it 3 or 4 times a week.
I was talking about the dream that every actor has, and that is creating a character that is so unique and so memorable that it becomes a part of television history. Our next guest has actually, as I said, done it twice. First with his character of Ted Baxter on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, and now every week as he plays Henry Rush on his own hit series, Too Close for Comfort.
Please welcome Ted Knight.
Yes, indeed. Hello, Ted.
Hi, guys.
Welcome to the show, Ted.
Thank you.
Listen, let me, before we talk about Henry Rush, I'd like to ask you about Ted Baxter.
Yes.
How did you create the character? I mean, he was such an egomaniac.
Well, it's easy when you're as good-looking, as talented as I am. Perfection is my life.
See, Steve? That's how he did it. Ted Baxter was perfect.
Don, I was only kidding. Ted Baxter was a caricature. Truthfully speaking, he wasn't really bright, and he was an egomaniac, frankly.
Gee, I watch the show every week, and I thought Ted Baxter was the best news anchor man on television.
And people thought I was a hockey puck.
Ted, let me ask you about the character that you've been playing for the last 5 years, Henry Rush.
Well, it's a little different in that I have a chance now to do some reaction humor other than being the butt of the joke, as Don is very familiar with. So I like it from that standpoint. Plus, it is a steady job, and 2 successful series is very enviable, as you also know, Don. So, from that standpoint, I'm very pleased I've got a steady job.
John is also pleased that you have a steady job. Does Henry Rush have anything in common with the other characters that you played in your career?
Only one thing.
What's that?
When I'm playing either one, there's going to be a few follow-ups. Always are.
Well, tell us about the scene that we're about to see right now.
Well, this one's very complicated. All I had to do was open the door, and Jim came in to hand me a magazine.
Here you are, Mr. Rush, the latest issue of, that magazine. Here you are, Mr. Rush. I just picked it up at the newsstand, the latest issue of Weapon World.
Oh, fine.
It comes out every month, but this is a special edition.
Fine.
It has a $50 rebate if you buy a tank. I got the line right.
On the fifth tape, there was a little surprise waiting for me. Our producer, Arnie Sultan. Audrey Meadows and I had rehearsed this scene a dozen times, and we had it down, we thought, cold. There was only one problem. The first time they'd be seeing the funny wardrobe that I had to wear was when we were actually taping the scene.
Henry!
I got stuck in the elevator with that idiot Monroe, pushed the fire alarm button, and they set the sprinklers off.
Where did you get that suit?
Well, Dr. Davenport loaned it to me to take home. He's short, you know. Look at my wet clothes. What are you staring at?
I cannot believe that my daughter married you twice.
I can't believe it either.
Oh, you should have let me see him before he came out on stage.
Henry! Henry! Why are you dressed like that? Henry! Why are you dressed like that?
Well, I got stuck in the elevator with that idiot Monroe.
Finally, here's a practical joke Audrey Meadows played on Nancy and myself. Now, we'd finished the scene with the funny costume about 3 hours earlier. And now, watch what Audrey did to us.
And two,
I'll say goodnight now. I put Andrew to sleep. He's short, you know.
That was great, Ted. Thank you. Let's take a moment here to remind everybody when Too Close for Comfort is actually on the air.
Well, it's early evening, actually, but it's different days in different cities for different people.
Oh, then everyone should check their TV listings every day until they memorize when the show's on.
He is smart. Not as smart as I am, but smart.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help us thank a great guy, Ted Knight. John, I'll bet Ted's really going to enjoy this next piece. It's on one of Canada's top anchormen, Doug Main.
Last year, we showed a couple of Doug's foul-ups, and we asked him to dig up a few more. He has a marvelous sense of humor and even agreed to introduce his own foul-ups for us. So here's Doug Main from Canada.
Well, thanks, Steve and Don. I just can't tell you how much I've enjoyed seeing my foul-ups, bleeps, and blunders on your show. I can't, but my lawyer can. And I'm sure you'll enjoy spending the next 20 years in one of our fine Canadian prisons. Well, actually, I'm kidding, of course, because it is great to have something funny on the news once in a while, besides all the stories we do anyway on your president and our prime minister. And to prove the point, I'd like to show you some of my favorite foul-ups, bleeps, and blunders. You know, when you do a live newscast every day, you never really know what's going to happen, as I think you'll see. 10 counties in Arizona have been declared federal disaster areas by Ronald, I can't remember his name. Reagan. 10 counties in Arizona have been declared federal disaster. I can't go on. Well, it's spring break for Free, and so let's get the plane going with the Blank Fleegasuit.
Thanks very much. I just suffering snakes.
Here in Edmonton, provincial not Attorney General, Auditor General. Contractors were talking to unions today, trying to find a way to cut costs to keep the construction industry alive. The unions will talk about everything except raid roadblock. U.S. government, Hi. I'll have all the stories, and I'll say them right tonight at 10. And before we go, just to clear up a little bit of hockey confusion, Detroit, in fact, did win that game with Pittsburgh 6-4. What you saw on the screen was wrong. What Greg said was right. And when he corrected himself, he was wrong to correct himself because he was right the first time.
It's time for the Joke's on You, where we put real people in the silliest situations possible. Then we sit back and watch how they react.
Say, Don, you know what this is?
It's a surfboard for a midget. It's Joan Rivers' tongue depressor. It's a hockey puck. That Shelley Winters wanted.
Are you through? Are you through?
That's it for me.
Okay, good. This is a floor tile, and we've added some adhesive tape on the top of it. And then we went out and placed a lot of these on the floor. And watch what happened. take a short break for commercial right now. We'll be right back. So stay with us.
Don and Steve return with foul-ups, bleeps, and blunders from Kids in Politics. Mal Sharp in San Francisco, and home movies when we return.
We'd like you to see the results of one of the most honest political polls ever taken. That's because the participants were all children, and their answers are completely honest and hilarious. Watch.
Are you a Democrat or a Republican?
I think I'm a Republican. Really? Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that?
Well, I know I'm not a Democrat.
You don't want to be a Democrat?
No way.
Why?
I might get sick.
Okay. What do you think of the Democratic platform?
Really nice. Because a lot of people can stand on it.
What do you think of the two-party system?
Not good.
Why not?
Because I think it would be too much parties for one day.
Because if we had two parties, there wouldn't be room for sleeping and cooking and all that junk. Doing laundry.
If you could pick anybody in the world who you thought would be a good president, who would that be?
I picked Felicia. I picked Felicia, Felicia.
Now, who is that?
I got two girlfriends, Shannon and Felicia. So then if they play with me a lot. And everybody makes me happy and some don't.
So you think Felicia would be the best president?
Yeah.
What do you think about putting a freeze on sending arms to El Salvador? Do you think that's a good idea?
No.
Why not?
I'd like to keep mine.
Do you think we should cut defense spending?
No.
Why not?
Because I got a dog, so he might get out for cut the fence.
You know, in our business, Don and I spend a lot of time on airplanes. And I think you'll agree with me, Don, that when you're a frequent flyer, there's one speech that you hear over and over.
I know the one, where the guy sitting next to me says, "Let me off this thing, we're all going to die."
Have you really heard that on an airplane?
Only when they serve the food.
There is another speech that we always hear. It's the one that the stewardess makes at the end of the flight. And for this week's malfunction, our man in San Francisco, Mal Sharp, went to see if anybody paid attention.
Right in the camera here. Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to arrive at San Francisco International Airport. Please remain seated after we land. Chairs
Bring your
upright
seats to an
position.
upright position.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. I have put on the non-smoking sign. Please extinguish all cigarettes.
What do you
and
mean
put
this
out
is your captain speaking? It's the flight attendant, the stewardess.
Oh, yeah.
Tray tables?
Tray tables.
Up, seat back.
Seat back, up.
Stowaway luggage.
Stowaway luggage under the seat.
So luggage under, back.
Cigarettes out.
Cigarettes out, back.
Bring up, back out, under.
Tray table?
I'm getting confused now. All smoking material out. Can you please keep your tray tables up? All underseat luggage back under the seat.
They don't talk like this.
Yeah, I know they don't. Can you please distinguish all your cigarette smoking? Yeah. Let up all your seats, or your trays, whatever that is, and fasten your seatbelts, please.
What do you mean, let up your trays?
Well, you know the folding trays that they have come down.
Right there.
Let them up.
Let them up?
Let them up.
Let them up.
Let them up.
Let up your tray.
So she says put the tray tops and put the seat backs and finish all your liquor and put out your cigarettes.
And how did she finish the speech? Hey, listen, what does this say about American businessmen? If they're going to run America and they can't even remember this speech.
I'm not a businessman, I'm a nurse.
Thank you. We'd like to show you an incredible home movie that was sent to us by Dwayne Knutson of Fertile, Minnesota, of his friend Don Dale. Now, Don had spent about 3 months preparing to cut down a giant tree that was located at the side of his father-in-law's house. Planned it down to the last detail.
Is he gonna lay it in the street?
You bet he is. He's gonna put it right down there.
Local police kept the street clear of traffic, and Dwayne filmed the cutting. Now watch what happens.
Have
you ever had a disaster like that happen at your house?
Only once, when Orson Welles came by and asked to use the bathroom.
We're going to send Dwayne $100, and we'll do the same thing for you if we use your home movie or videotape on our show.
Don't send us anything that's not funny. If we want to watch stuff that's not funny, we have the tape, or Steve and Edie's next special.
We'll be right back, folks.
Where are we going?
Steve Lawrence and Don Rickles return with more foul-ups, bleeps, and blunders when we continue.
Duncan Hines chocolate chip cookies in a bag. Crispy, chewy.
You know what I don't like about dandruff? Dandruff shampoos. I'm afraid they won't leave my hair the way I like it. This shampoo cares for my hair. It's the only one with a self-balancing formula. Puts dandruff protection where I need it, on my scalp, not on my hair, and it conditions where I need it. Leaves my hair looking and feeling good. Yeah, my shampoo's a dandruff shampoo, but it's today's Head & Shoulders. It cares for my hair.
This Tuesday at 9, 8 Central. Soju. She's a cop. He's her partner. They're secretly married, and that's a problem. I'll blow you away. Magruder and Loud, together, this Tuesday at 9, 8 Central. Then, on Call to Glory,
How old were you the first time?
Jackie's looking for answers in all the wrong places.
And where'd you spend the night?
All starting at 9, 8 Central. Tuesday.
You know, Don has spent this whole week going through all the foul-ups that you folks have been nice enough to send us, and I know that he can't wait to share them with us. Right, Don?
This stuff was so wild, the mailman wore a mask when he brought it to the office. Like this classified ad that John B. Henry sent us from Ingram, Texas. Piano for sale by man with mahogany legs.
We're going to ship a foul-up T-shirt to Mary Little in Canton, Ohio, for sending us this picture. Restrooms. Please wait for hostess to seat you.
Tom Foster of Auburn Hills, Michigan, sent us this marquee. I love my wife, 2 weeks only.
Have you ever gone in for acupuncture? Well, in this foul-up that was sent to us by Mrs. Charles J. Lancare of Hackensack, New Jersey, there's no doubt about where they were aiming. Acupuncture in the rear. Mrs. Walt Gutierrez of Emporia, Kansas, sent us a picture of her street sign. She lives on South Exchange. Nothing wrong with that. But take a close look at the sign and read it out loud.
Here's a great classified ad that Pat Stillwell sent us from Glencoe, Alabama. $25, wedding dress, size 9, worn once by mistake. If we use your foul-up on the show, we're going to send you a foul-ups T-shirt. It's only fair. You send us dumb stuff, we send you dumb stuff.
Don, you should have been a diplomat. Just send any of the pictures that you spot, some foul-ups in funny newspapers. Just send them to us here at Foul-Ups, Bleeps, and Blunders. Post Office Box 7800, Universal City, California. The zip code is 91608.
Hey, Steve, how about a quickie for the road?
Sure thing, Don.
Draw. Thanks, Steve, for my quickie. I'll see you next week.
Wait a minute. How come I never see you during the week? I mean, only when we're doing the shows. You used to come over to the house all the time.
I still do. I'm there every day from noon to 6.
Now, that's stupid. I'm never home in the afternoon. Only Edie's there.
That's right. Now who's stupid?
Say goodnight, Hockey Puck.
Good night, Hockey Puck.
Good night, folks.